Roger Stone here. Every day you wait, your money loses value, but gold and silver don't follow those same rules. American Sovereign Bullion gives you access to a nationwide wholesaler network, helping you secure aggressive pricing on real physical metals. Call 844-272-2428 now to get your free gold and silver guide to learn how to protect your wealth with physical gold and silver, delivered right to your door or with a gold IRA. Visit asbgold.com. That's asbgold.com for your free gold and silver guide today.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And the number to reach me this hour, 800-848-9222. Good news, bad news. Good news, bad news. Which one do you want first? Do you want the good news or do you want the bad news? Inquiring minds want to know. I'm an optimist. So I guess I'll start with the good news. For the course of this hour, I'm going to let my little hair that I have left down. And I want to hear, here we are on Friday, 48 hours from Mother's Day. And I want to hear from some of you moms. And what I want to know from you moms are, we give you cards and flowers and, whatever. I want to know, what do you really want for Mother's Day? We're going to do a little politics. That's the bad news. I'll get to that in a second. But what do you want for this Mother's Day? How would you like to spend your Mother's Day? I hear a lot of moms say, can I just have a day of peace with no one driving me crazy? 800-848-9222. So I want to hear from you moms as we're going into your weekend here. Well, here we are on this Friday AM. And now the bad news. And of course, it's bad. Call me naive. Say, Dominic Carter, you are naive. But correcting injustice. How should society deal with horrible crimes? Bears repeating. How should society deal with these horrible crimes? Crimes against innocent people, crimes against little kids, crimes against seniors, crimes against 18-year-old college students. We see your calls coming in. We're going to get to them momentarily. Say her name. 18-year-old Sheridan Gorman from Westchester County, New York. What happened to her should happen to no one. Her parents say it's an unbearable pain and that her murder was totally preventable. Only 7 months into her college experience at Loyola University in Chicago, but from Westchester County, New York. Her family is speaking up about losing her. And of course, led into the country, a migrant and illegal has been charged with her murder. It shouldn't have happened, but it did. It did. And I'm going to circle back around to the positive. I told you, good news, bad news this morning. But crimes, and how do we correct these types of injustice? So one way is what's happening in Texas. Thank you, DMS, for sending me this clip earlier this week. And I pondered on it. I thought about it. Because the crime against a little girl, frankly, hits a little too close to home. But I thought about it, and I thank DMS for sending this to me. We're about to start with your telephone calls. And I'm going to come back around to Sheridan Gorman as well. But I'm sure you've heard the story. FedEx driver in Texas sentenced to death by a jury for the murder of 7-year-old Althena Strand in Texas. Tanner Horner pleaded guilty last month to killing the girl in 2022 after he delivered a Christmas gift to her home in Weiss County. And he's been sentenced to death by lethal injection. So apparently this FedEx driver was delivering a Barbie doll for the little girl and ended up killing her. It's very, very sad. And again, we see your calls coming in. We're going to go to Elena and Steve and others in just a moment. 800-848-9222. But justice. Now, of course, this case goes immediately on appeal to the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals. It's automatic because the jury decided, and I guess society has had enough, or this case was just so horrific. The jury decided that this monster should receive the death penalty. And this was the judge at his sentencing.
Mr. Horner, if you'd stand, please. It's the order of the court that you, Tanner Lynn Horner, has been adjudged to be guilty of the offense of capital murder as found by the jury. Jury having answered the special issues making it mandatory that your punishment be death, it is therefore the order of this court that your punishment be death. Before the hour of sunrise on a date to be determined by this court, upon a mandate of affirmance issued by the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals at the State Penitentiary in Huntsville, Texas, you will be caused to die in accordance with the rules and regulations established by the Texas Department of Criminal Justice until you, said Tanner Horner, are dead. Said execution procedure shall be determined and supervised by the Director of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. The clerk of this court shall issue a death warrant in accordance with this sentence directed to the Director of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for that purpose. Clerk shall deliver such warrant to the sheriff of this county and to be by him delivered to the Director of the Department of Criminal Justice together with you, and you will remain to the custody of the Tarrant County Jail to await transportation to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice at Huntsville, Texas, and the execution of this sentence. I will sign this death sentence as required by law. You may be seated. Is there an allocution?
And so there you have it, folks. Texas don't play that. Texas don't play that. Call me naive. Why would you do that to a 7-year-old girl? You got a good job working for FedEx. I don't know if he was part-time. I don't know if he's full-time. Why would you do that to a 7-year-old girl? Why? I don't know, folks. I don't know. We're going to get to the words of what the family members, the mother and father, I can't fathom going through something like this. Their 18-year-old daughter shot in the back of her neck, apparently, and the bullet came out 7 months into her freshman year. So in other words, folks, she should be finishing her freshman year any day now. She's 6 feet under because of an illegal that Biden led into the country. Let's start with your call. So let's see here. Elena, I believe, line 2, Teaneck, New Jersey. Good morning. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Dominic. Oh, it's Olena.
It's what now?
Olena.
Olena. Okay, I'm sorry.
Olena, yeah. No, that's okay.
So is that spelled with an O?
With an O, yes.
Okay, because it says an E here. That's why. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, no. Dominic, you asked, what should we do with our criminals? Well, first of all, we should punish them. So Texas did a good decision. There should be death penalty everywhere, and there should be hard labor in jail, not hotel facilities.
I'm with you.
Not free college. We're all wrong. These criminals, they have it made. Half of them want to be there as long as they possibly can because this is a free heaven. This is better than welfare. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, they had issues, with mommy or daddy, and no figure to look up to, and so the jail system becomes the parent, literally, and they wake up 3 hots in a cot, get to play basketball, watch TV, doesn't get much better than that.
Yep, and it's all for free. We're paying for it, are these citizens of the United States.
So you're telling me, Olena, that you believe it should be a lot more difficult in prison? Yes,
and hard labor. No pay, hard labor, punishment.
And you believe that would be a strong deterrent to stop the rest of these fools out here from doing what they do?
For many of them, yes. Because once they get caught, that's how it's going to happen. The chain gang wasn't funny, and there weren't too many in the chain gangs.
Right. So how did we end up? Because I'm in one of my pondering moods this morning. How did we end up in the situation where we are with crime around the country?
Okay, we say liberal politicians. Well, we have liberal social workers and liberal counselors and liberal, and I don't know if they would be so liberal if it was their daughter or their mother or their father or their brother.
Right.
But it's somebody else, and they're protecting their salaries. We have a system that is out of whack. No discipline.
Right. I have to agree with you. Thank you for the wonderful call. Wait a minute. Are you a mom?
Yes, I am. A mom and a grandmom.
Grandmom. So what are you doing on Sunday? What do you want to do with your day? Answer the last question first. What do you want to actually do with your day? Okay.
Well, my Sunday would be a normal Sunday for me, traditionally, but my best delight for my spirit, because my children they don't live close to me, and neither do my grandchildren because they're spread out into different states, and my biggest delight is when I get to talk to them and hear from them. Because they're all too busy.
Nice?
That's all I want from them.
That's all you want. Wow.
That's all I want, to share them, their voices, their thoughts, their ideas. It doesn't matter what they say as long as it's full of love.
Wow. Doesn't get much better than that. Happy Mother's Day to you. Thank you for the call.
Thank you.
Let's go to Steve in Newark, New Jersey. Good morning, Steve.
Dominic, that animal in that FedEx truck, I hope Moo, Rawa, Bubba, Jose, Chris, George, I hope they get him before there's legal department, it'll go on for years. I hope they get him before any of this could even take place. That is a complete animal. I said to my own wife, I said, Texas don't play. They're going to fry him. And Dominic, as far as Mother's Day, I listen to you every day. I got the privilege of hearing from you 3 to 4, going to work, and I get the privilege of hearing you from 12 to 1. And your mama was a great mama. Why? She made you. You're here. You're benefiting millions and millions of people's lives. And what you do for your own family, from what I hear, stay away from Hillside, New Jersey, Dominic, because they got a bear on the loose. I'll see you in church, my brother.
You were doing good, Steve, until you mentioned that bear. Thank you so much for the call. Happy Mother's Day to your wife and others in your family. It is time for a break. We are coming right back.
Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back, 800-848-9222. So that case in Texas, the murder of a 7-year-old girl, Alhina Strand, the person that pleaded guilty, Tanner Horner, a jury said, no, we don't play that here in Texas. The death penalty by lethal injection. And in a moment, I'm going to Joe, line 3 in New Jersey. But first, the parents of Sheridan Gorman, say her name, the 18-year-old from Westchester County, New York, 7 months into her freshman year, killed on the pier in Chicago with her girlfriends, not bothering anybody, by an illegal, by a migrant. And this is what her mom has to say as it relates to President Trump.
The outpouring of support, love, President Trump called us. And despite what people might think, he did not say one thing political. He just basically held us. His whole team calling out wonderful, supportive things. You know, he spoke to us as a father, as a grandfather. I actually cut him short because it was so emotional. And you know, the heartfelt support. I mean, people say they can see the love in her eyes. I mean, she was so expressive. She sparkled.
We are so sorry for your loss. She was a beautiful, vibrant young woman, and we all wish that we knew her, and we're grateful to you for bringing her into the world, and we wish you all the best, Madeline, in your future, which will be bright, no doubt.
Thank you so much, really.
All the moms and dads out there, give your kids a big hug. Tell them that you love them, because that's the one thing that gives us solace, is knowing that Sheridan knew how much we loved her.
That voice, her father, the voice before that, her mother and sister. Now imagine what her Mother's Day is going to be like this year. Let's go to Joe, line 3, New Jersey. Good morning, Joe. What's on your mind?
Yeah, how you doing, Dominic? Listen, you know, when a tree doesn't bear good fruit, you cut it down. Now, when these criminals do things, there's no fear in them. So we got to put fear in them. Whatever they do to somebody, the same thing should be done to them. That'll cut the crime in half and maybe more.
So wait a minute, Joe. When you say the same thing, define the same thing.
Okay. If you cut somebody's throat, they cut yours. Finished. You stab somebody, they stab you. You shoot somebody, they shoot you.
So you mean literally what you said? Joe?
Excuse me?
Yeah. You mean literally what you said?
Yes. In other words, what you do something to somebody, a crime, that same crime should be done to you, what you've done to somebody. And that will put fear in people before they do anything. See, the trouble in this country is there's not swift and sure punishment. You got these loony prosecutors and judges that free them. So it's a joke. They know they're going to get away with it. But
and we also got these judges, Joe, that are apologizing to people for presidential assassination attempts. Joe, maybe you're right. Maybe this is the answer. Joe, thank you for the great call. Maybe you do exactly to them as they do upon others. I've got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to go to Michael in New Jersey and other calls at 800-848-9222.
Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And I promise, folks, for this half of the show, I'm going to get to as many of your phone calls as possible. I'm letting my hair down this morning. I'm exhaling, right? But what I'm thinking about, so I'm going to go to Michael in New Jersey in a second, John in Reno, Nevada. But what I'm thinking about, here's what's on my mind, right? So doing this a very long time, covering politics, covering crime, covering the police, so on. It's always been hard for me when I have to cover the mothers. Very hard. Because the mothers can't hide the pain and so on when they've lost their children. And I'm thinking about 18-year-old Sheridan Gorman, Westchester County, in college, 7 months in, and she's shot by an illegal, allegedly, and killed. Shot in the back, actually in the neck, according to the mom. The neck, the head. Ugly situation. Family had to go to the morgue in Chicago and identify their 18-year-old daughter. You had a council member, they called alderman in Chicago. One lady said, well, she was at the wrong place at the wrong time. No, you're at the wrong place at the wrong time because you shouldn't be in public office. But what I'm thinking about right now on this Friday AM, right? So Sheridan's dad, he's hurting. As a father, he has to be hurting. right? He talked about, going into the morgue to identify his daughter. But I want to add another element to this. What is this man supposed to say to his wife on Sunday, on Mother's Day? Now, she has another daughter, the mother of Sheridan Gorman. But the dad, he's hurting. What is he supposed to say to his wife on Mother's Day that could possibly make anything better? Well, she did the family did another interview. First time was with CBS, this time now with Fox News. And here's what the mom of this young lady has to say.
It was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. And one of the things that's so hard is this devastating darkness has just come over me. It's a combination of grief and anger and hate. Those are feelings I've never felt before. And you wake up every day and I fear that I'm going to have that in my heart forever. And I can't. When we went to the courthouse, I remember sitting there. I was sitting between my husband and one of my best friends, Cleo, and I was clutching their hands for dear life, holding on. And before he came, I was envisioning myself jumping over the bench in front of me, which, or screaming out loud, just why? Like, why? Why did you do this? And like Tom said, our biggest fear, I can't even watch the news. Our biggest fear is it's going to happen to someone else. I pray every day. I don't believe I have any enemies, but if I did, I wouldn't wish this on them. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. This is a heartbreak. People do say it feels like your heart was ripped out of your chest. I thought the first day with the police coming to our door and falling to my knees, I thought that was the worst. But every day is worse. Every day is worse. I have to walk by her bedroom. Our dogs lay on her bed all day. They don't understand. She was supposed to be home yesterday. She would have been coming home from Loyola. It hasn't felt real for us because she wouldn't have been home. And yesterday was probably one of the hardest days I've ever had. There's just a sadness that I've never experienced. And in that courtroom, I actually had a fury and anger that I've never felt before, that I can't believe I was there. Yeah. Why did I have to be there?
You just heard the mother say her daughter should have been home from college yesterday. So the way this script is supposed to have gone, completing her freshman year. Hi, Mom. Hi, sweetie. How did you do this year? What are your grades like? Well, Mom, we'll talk about it. I'm going to go hang out with my friends. I'll be back later on. There's no more coming back for 18-year-old Sheridan Gorman. It's over. And some savage animal that, you know what? The left likes to pretend, oh, these are human beings, the migrants, no, they're not. They don't have the same value of life. This had to have been a gang initiation. Or he must have had some very bad angel dust. Why would you do something like this? Why? Why would the guy do, the FedEx driver, what he did to this 7-year-old girl? Why? And so I started out positive and negative. The positive, I want to hear from you mothers about Mother's Day. The negative, what do you do with these savages that get locked up? Let's not play this game. Oh, corrective action. They'll do their time and they'll be okay. I don't think so. Let's go to John and then Michael. John in Reno. Line 1. John, what's on your mind?
Dominic, once again, you're absolutely right. The problem we have, and I knew all the La Raza people in California. I was there 20 years. I know this community. I know the issue. The problem is the fence hasn't been completed yet. The worst of the worst go to the deepest part of the desert and hike in to avoid border patrol. The fence needs to be completed, and then immigrants need to be let in under a work program where they're vetted by the Mexican government and then approved by us. They'll be double vetted. That will keep the worst of the worst out, and we'll be much better off. Until we do that, we're going to continue to have these tragedies, Dominic.
And you know what? Unfortunately, John, you're correct, because they're just happening more and more. And, every time they happen, this is the part that gets to me. Shock, right? We're all deeply shocked and stunned. And a week later, we go on with our lives like nothing ever happened. this mother, this father, this sibling, they will never be the same. Ever. John, thank you for the great call. So, you talk about these illegals and the migrants and so on, and Trump has them in check. But what's happening, folks, I don't know about your state, but in New York State, the governor of the state, Kathy Hochul, a Democrat, and Tom Homan, the border czar, they're now feuding. We'll let you in on that. But we're taking your telephone calls up until the top of the hour, 800-848-9222. Let's go to Michael, line 2 in New Jersey. Michael, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't understand why. What is so much worse of an alligator over a shark? These are basically meat-eating animals, and they kill and eat whatever it is because they want to live. They're doing it for food. So
okay, wait. You just said alligators over sharks. You got to put this in perspective. I don't know what you're saying.
You should keep saying alligators. Why is an alligator worse than a shark?
Oh, you're talking about my fear of alligators?
Yeah, I mean, the reason they kill isn't because they hate they have a higher level of intelligence than the guy that shot that girl. He killed her for no reason. These creatures kill to live. They're killing to eat the food that they kill. Now, if you want to talk about a really bad animal, that's an animal that kills just for the pleasure of killing and has no reason. He had no intentions of killing that girl and eating her. He killed her for no reason. I mean, God forbid if she was killed by an alligator, you say it's not that the alligator had a hatred for her. He killed her because he meant to eat her. Now, another thing, this is probably going to turn your stomach, but have you...
You already have.
Have you ever tasted alligator? I have. They're delicious.
That's disgusting.
No, it's all in your mind. You know what? Tell that to the people in Louisiana who hunt alligators for their skin, right. And they take the meat, and it was on TV. It shows them going out and boat, and they eat it, and they live on it. They prefer alligator meat to beef or pork. It's all in your mind.
Right. Michael, you know you're talking to a brother from the hood, from the projects of the Bronx, right? I'm not. So I gave a speech once. I forgot that one of those big parks that's on you can go into the park in several states. I can't remember the name of it, but it has all types of wildlife animal. I flew into Utah, then drove 2 hours, and it's between Utah and Wyoming. I've been to Wyoming as well, but speaking. And so I went into one of the restaurants, Michael, right? It was on this beautiful, I was staying at the hotel. I forgot the name of it. But Michael, help me. What are some of the names of the state parks, the big ones? State parks, the big ones around the country.
Yellowstone?
Not Yellowstone, but close to it. But anyway, so I'm in there. They had alligator. They had bear meat. They had bison. Bison were big in this.
Right.
Michael,
I've eaten that too. I've eaten buffalo. I've eaten deer. I've eaten rabbit. I've eaten turtle. Turtle is really good. It's all in your mind. It is all. Anything is edible. I mean, if you said to me, "Would you eat a skunk?" No, that I wouldn't eat. I mean, that's already disgusting. But all these other things, it's meat. Once you cook it, if it's cooked properly. If you were to eat alligator and they didn't tell you were eating it, if they didn't tell you were eating it and you tasted it, you'd say, "Hey, you know what? This is really good." Did you ever try snails? They eat snails in France. It's considered a delicacy. It's considered a delicacy in this country. Snails, do you know what snails live on? If you have a fish tank and you want to keep the fish tank free of fish waste, do you know what you put into it? Snails. People eat snails. Snails eat waste. Alligators don't eat waste. I mean, they eat other animals. They don't eat excrement.
So Michael, so you took it there. So I will continue with you. So if the alligator bites me, I'm supposed to understand it's okay because the alligator is biting me for survival. I'm supposed to understand that.
No, you don't get close enough to them. What I'm just saying, see, if it was me, if I was that woman in the house and those two alligators were fighting, especially in the state of Florida, I have a legitimate excuse to shoot both of them. I would skin them.
Here we go with your John Wayne stuff. Here we go.
It's not John Wayne. You're talking about a lot of meat. You put that meat in your freezer, it'll last you God how. I'm telling you, you've never tasted it. It's not stringy. It's not oily. That's what everybody thinks. Oh, it's probably tough. It's oily. It's stringy. No, it's not. It's really tasty. Otherwise, those people in Louisiana wouldn't keep eating it. I mean, they live on this stuff. It all depends how you cook it. I mean, if it's cooked properly, it's delicious. Turtle. Ask anybody who's eaten turtle. They'll tell you turtle is delicious. It's all in your mind. It's strictly a thing of, I mean, like I said, skunk isn't, I mean, that's nauseating. But I've never eaten snails because I don't want to eat something that eats excrement. That to me is disgusting. Something that lives off of eating excrement, that is
okay. So Michael, before I got to take a break and I got to switch topics because you've already turned my stomach on this Friday morning. What now? I say that you come up with your John Wayne stories.
It's not John Wayne.
Wait, will you listen for a second?
Yeah. Go ahead.
What do you do with the criminals?
Feed him to the alligator. You could do that.
I like that. Seriously?
Yeah, why not? Throw them into a pool of water with alligators and let them tear them apart. They'll eat them. They're not eating them because they're not killing him because he killed that girl. They're killing him because he's food to them. And they'll do the twist. They'll grab him by his arm, pull him down, and they do the twist. They turn around.
The dead man's roll.
Right. They tear off his arm, his leg. And then the mother can stand there and watch as they tear him apart. And maybe that'll help her, go through life knowing that he won't be around to kill anybody else's daughter. And that he suffered like hell before he died. Because he'd be screaming, save me, get me out, but you stand there and laugh and say, hey, you decided to kill my daughter? Well, now we're going to kill you. You hurt someone who didn't do anything at all to you. Well, you didn't do anything to the alligator, but at least he has a reason for killing you. He's going to eat you. So, but of course they never do that. But in my world, they would. If in a case like that,
I think we found something that we agree on. I really do, because for the killer of this 7-year-old girl,
same thing. Do the same thing. Throw them. You think that's a horrible way to go? Throw them into a pool with alligators. Alligators, throw them into something with sharks. Take them to SeaWorld and throw them in with sharks or something. There's so many different ways to kill a person horribly.
I got it, Michael. First, we're from alligators to this. Thank you for the call, Michael in New Jersey. Folks, I've got to take a break. I got to update you on a few other stories. We are coming right back.
Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back. So we break for a second there. And in between the break, before I just did the last segment, what's Kevin telling me about? Alligator, nuggets and turtle soup. So it's just fantastic here. Let's go to line one. Michael in New Jersey. Michael, what's on your mind?
Dominic, I'm going to have to...
Michael?
Hello?
Wait, Michael, say that again, please.
I said, I'm going to have to call it.
Michael, your phone, something's wrong with your phone. You're going in and out. I'm going to try one more time. Are you there?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead, please.
I said, I'm going to call it.
You're having we have a bad connection with your phone, Michael. One more try. Are you there?
Yeah, we cannot feed anybody.
We cannot feed anybody?
No, even the killers. Some killers.
Wait, Michael, I'm sorry. I can't hear your phone. Something's wrong with your phone. Vincent, line 3 in Brooklyn. Vincent, what's on your mind?
Dominic, yesterday I heard this dude call you up and say that he wishes that you had the family that he had and everything, and you told him that you might not have been the person that you grew up to be. And that's What doesn't harm you makes you stronger. Dominic, I grew up in an orphanage until I was a year and a half old. My mother couldn't take care of me, and then when she finally got it together, she came and took you out. Just like your grandmother took care of you, and as you always say, sometimes it's not the person who gave birth to you, but the person who nurtured you, like your grandmother, and you are indeed the person you've become today because you came through all that and you stood up, man. That's all I want to say. And
well, hey, Vincent, I appreciate the words, but sometimes it's very humbling when you think about and it doesn't happen often. Normally, I'm a very positive guy, but sometimes, so I've reported in the past on the Administration for Children's Services. And to think about the fact that as a toddler, I was in the foster care system of New York City until my grandmother was able to get me out. It's kind of rough, man, and I don't even want to talk about it because I don't want to be negative for anybody that's listening. And especially for the mothers out there, as we're 48 hours away from Mother's Day. And I'm really feeling bad for the mother of Sheridan Gorman. It's Mother's Day, and she had to bury her daughter. Vincent, you have the final word before I move on.
Well, no mother, no parent should have to bury their child, and you could hold your head up high because you took care of your family, you have a loving wife, you have grandchildren, you have a loving son and a daughter, and nobody has anything on you, man. That's all I want to say.
That's very kind and very nice of you to say. Folks, I'm going to have to deal with this other story. Thank you, Vincent, for the call. And that is Governor Hochul of New York State. She's feuding with Tom Homan, the border czar. She says no ICE. He says, oh, they're coming. I want you to listen to part of this report from Fox News.
Morning, another showdown between ICE and another Democratic leader in a Democratic city like here in New York City. And the governor just wrapped up a briefing a short time ago saying that it's happening. It's in the New York budget that they will have ICE restrictions to even ban masks and stop ICE from doing its job here in New York. Watch.
States like New York can and must be a guardrail against ICE overreach. ICE will no longer be able to use our police, our jails, and our resources to carry out civil immigration enforcement. Because guess what? Our officers, paid for by local taxpayer dollars, were hired to protect their communities, to be there to assist with a traffic accident, to go after retail theft, stop domestic violence. They're not there to do the federal government's bidding.
So Governor Kathy Hochul also said that President Trump promised her before that he wouldn't just flood.
Okay, you know what, folks? I'm going to have more on this later on at 3 p.m. today. Governor Hochul of New York State, how about this? Let ICE do their job. You and your Democrat friends, let ICE do their job. They're good at what they do. We want law and order. We don't want the nonsense that you're pushing and that you're peddling. To you moms out there, I'll say it again later on today. Have a great Mother's Day. Stay positive. Folks, do me a favor. Have a wonderful day. I am back live at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.